So, hi everybody, and welcome to your Well Beyond This experience. My name is Tamara Lane, and I'm the co-creator of Well Beyond This, and I'm also the managing director of IPEC Wellbeing, which is a division of the IPEC Group. The IPEC Group is part of the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And we originally began as a coaching institute, and we're one of the leading coach institutes in the world, proud to say. So we train a lot of really incredibly talented and wonderful coaches, two of whom are going to be guiding you through this program and are on the line with me today. And I'll give you a little bit more background on them in a few minutes. So just a little very, very short bit about me, because you can read stuff on wellbeyondthis.com about me, just to get some sense of my background. But just bottom lining it, I do this because when my late husband was going through his, treatment and dealing with Hodgkin's disease for the 3 years that I was caregiving, we really struggled. And we actually had access to quite a few resources, and we still found it extremely challenging, particularly when it came to all the aspects of our life outside of the medical piece of it that were impacted. And so I just, felt after he passed that there had to be a better way. And I really wanted to come up with a process, a strategy, an approach, a resource for people who were going through the experience, so that while you may not be able to change the experience of, being diagnosed with cancer, going through treatment, and, dealing with it, wherever you are on the cancer continuum, whether you're in ongoing treatment, dealing with chronic disease, metastatic, no matter what your situation is, that is what it is. But we really want to look at what is it we can have an impact on? How can we shift and change some of the other aspects that you're dealing with, deal with some of the other challenges, deal with the stress, so that you can have the best quality of life no matter what else is going on. So that was my intention, and out of all of that, Well Beyond This was born. So first of all, I just want to, really acknowledge all of you who have shown up and signed up for the beta trial. You're playing a very important role in what I hope when we look back, we will see as a historical event in changing the face of the survivorship experience. And this really is a first of its kind program where we're marrying and creating access to a coaching-based methodology and a core curriculum that really teaches you new tools and resources. Because the bottom line is, if you could be doing things differently to deal with the stress, to deal with the challenges of finances or insurance, to deal with fertility issues or relationship issues, or how do I balance career, or how do I create a well-being strategy so that I'm not just focused only on my disease and my experience of what's happened with cancer, but that I can have a full life. So we really brought all this together in this curriculum so that you have new tools, new insights, new resources, new processes that you can use to create the changes you want. Because clearly, if you knew how, you would just already do that. You've worked your way through and figured out a lot of things to get to this point in your survivorship. But typically there's just some areas where, it wasn't something we were necessarily prepared for. So, learning to really self-lead, learning to understand the role of energy and how it impacts what's going on in your life, the thoughts that you have, and how that contributes to some of the challenges that you're having. So we're going to get to play with all of that and really help you create some significant and sustainable change over the course of the program. But I do want to thank you for being willing to step out there and try something new, and also be part of helping others, because what we will learn from you going through this final testing of the program will help us take it just to the next level, so that we're ready to really rock it out there in the world. So who's on the line with you is myself, and then I also have our two Well Beyond This survivorship coaches, who I'll introduce in a second. And, a very, very significant right-hand person to me, Cheryl Neville, who works behind the scenes with me to make sure that all this stuff keeps coming together smoothly. And then there's, you guys, the people who signed up for this trial, and are bringing, your energy and your desire to create change. And that's really extraordinary. When people make a decision to sign up for something like this, they're doing so because they see that there's an opportunity to do something differently, and they're ready to do something different. So congratulations. So let's just move forward now, and just quickly the topics for tonight. I've done the little mini welcome here. I'm going to move into introducing the Well Beyond This survivorship coaches to you. So you'll have a chance to hear a little bit about their background. And then later, closer to the end, once we've done the orientation, which will be a quick online tour of what it's going to look like to work within the online experience, then I will have them on the line and ready to coach you through any challenges or perceived obstacles or things that you might think might come up in advance of getting started. And so you'll have a chance to get a little bit of coaching live on the spot. So that's our agenda for this evening, and we'll move things along at a pretty steady pace. For those of you who joined us late, just a few minutes late, mostly everybody was right on time. I just want to reemphasize that we are recording the call. If you wish to get on the line and get any coaching or ask a question, you can use your first name or no name or a pseudonym if you want to keep your identity confidential. And also the recording will only be used with people who are going through the beta trial who couldn't make the call tonight. And also you'll also get a copy of it so you can review later if you need to go back and take a quick look at the online tour. So let's get started with the next piece here. So joining me on the line is Wendy. So she's one of our survivorship coaches, and Leanne. And Wendy, a little background on our coaches in general. So any of the coaches who will be coaching through this program, that's all being facilitated by some of IPEC's leading experts in survivorship coaching. And they're all certified professional coaches who have successfully completed IPEC's coach training program. And it is, as I said earlier, one of the leading coach training programs worldwide. And these IPEC graduates are also Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioners, which means that they're certified in the use of our assessment tool, which is one of the metrics that we'll be using for this program to help measure stress levels and the change in your energy over the course of the program from start to finish. And you'll hear a bit more about the assessment in just a minute. And both of our coaches have also completed our graduate program called the Core Wellbeing Dynamics program and are designated as Core Wellbeing Dynamics specialists. So this advanced level of training, as well as the personal and other professional experiences that both of these coaches bring to their role as Well Beyond This survivorship coaches, uniquely qualifies them to support survivors taking part in the program. The IPEC coaches bring a really deep level of understanding of the impact of stress, how to transform it, and how to remove the obstacles to creating a sustainable behavior change. So, as I said, joining me today on the call, we have Wendy and Leanne. Wendy is a survivorship coach who helps cancer survivors and their families create greater well-being while navigating the challenges of cancer. With over 18 years of experience working in private cancer facilities with patients, insurance, and pharmaceutical companies, Wendy's well-versed in utilizing a wide range of resources to alleviate the stress for patients and their families caused by the financial burden. And Leanne, in addition to being a coach, is also a speaker and a radio host. She is a cancer survivorship coach and works with survivors to help them become their own best advocates while dealing with the impact of cancer. And Leanne's been very involved in programs with American Cancer Society, such as Look Good, Feel Better, and other local community efforts in her community. And she coaches within the adoption community to empower those whose lives are touched by adoption to connect and reveal the myths and the realities of adoption. So, coaches, I want to welcome you both to tonight's call. And as I said, you guys will be doing some coaching, on-the-spot coaching as we get to that portion of the call in just a few minutes. But thank you so much for your time this evening. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the metrics. Now, some of you have already completed the ELI assessment metric, which came to you as a link, and you got a sign-in name and a username and a password. And when we're talking about the Energy Leadership Index Assessment metric, we're talking about the picture that you're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen. And basically what it does is it assesses and reveals and verifies the attitudes and perspectives of how you're currently seeing your situation, and it quantifies down into a number the impact that stress has on how you're able to show up and the energy that you have to engage in your daily activities, and it helps uncover patterns of behavior. So it really shows us how you're currently looking at your experience with survivorship, and also the way you look at things in life, and how that can either be supporting you, because there's some ways that you already figured out ways to look at this in a way that empowers you. So it identifies your strengths and how you're able to see things in a way that help you be a better advocate for yourself or help you move forward in survivorship. But it also reveals the patterns that create obstacles for yourself and create some of the challenges that you deal with when you're going through with it. Some of the anxiety, some of the fear-based thinking, and what creates the stress triggers and things like that. Over the course of the program, you're going to learn specifically what your stress triggers are, and you're going to learn ways to begin to change how you identify when that stress is coming on, and then learn how to create some different approaches and different ways to interact with the stress so that it is not impacting your energy level, and that you're able to make some different choices. And it really leads you to be able to make very clear choices based on your values, as opposed to based on a knee-jerk reaction in the moment. So that's the purpose of the ELI. And then also throughout the program, at the end of each phase, you'll be doing something called the Perceived Stress Scale. And that just is a predictor of or an assessment of where your stress is at currently in the moment. So how you're feeling in the moment and how well you're doing with stress. And you may find it will go up and down, and you'll be able to see that metric as you go through the program. It will show up for you personally. You'll only see yours, of course, of how well you're doing, whether it's going up or whether it's going down. And we'll help you understand that as you move through the program, so that you're clear on what that metric is telling you. Sometimes when we take on learning new things, it can actually increase our stress a little bit, or sometimes when we figure out the ways that we're generating our own stress, that can even be stress inducing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself? Every time I have that thought, I'm creating stress, and I don't want to have that thought, and I don't want to have that stress. So you can actually see a little increase in stress in the early stage or stages and phases, but then it typically gets resolved, and you move into a space of being able to bring that stress level down. So if you haven't completed the Energy Leadership Index assessment, I would ask you to please do that. It takes about 20 minutes on your computer. The results of all these metrics are completely confidential. Your name won't ever be attached to any of the individual results. We're just going to use the averages over time. So, you'll do another one of these at the end of the program, and then we'll be able to show healthcare organizations and oncology treatment centers the benefit over time of using this when we have a group of survivors who start with stress levels at a certain place and energy levels at a certain place, and then are able to transform that, reduce the stress, and increase the daily physical energy levels and daily and overall satisfaction in how life is going for you. So that's the purpose of them. So please, if you haven't done it so already, go ahead and do that. If for some reason you didn't get the link, then you can email your team at wellbeyondthis.com, and that email address will be up on the last slide at the end. So it's your team at wellbeyondthis.com. Just email and say, I didn't get the metric, or I don't understand the metric, or I have this concern about the metric. And we can also get some coaching, in the coaching piece down near the end of the call, if you have any concerns about doing the ELI assessment. But it is done on your computer. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes at the most. It's just multiple choice questions from, I feel all the way this way or not at all. So I feel highly stressed all of the time, or I feel not stressed, all of the time is kind of the range. So that will be an integral part of you getting started. Once you've completed that, then we'll go ahead and send you your first assignment, which will come, and you'll see those assignment worksheets in a minute. So you'll get your first worksheet once you and the startup of the program once you get that metric into us. All right. So you will receive, once we get your ELI assessment in, and for those of you who did it already, you'll be getting this email tomorrow or Monday at the very latest. So either tomorrow or Monday at the very latest, you'll get an email that will provide you with a link that you click on, a username, and a password. And as you can see, Cheryl was our volunteer client for this demonstration. So when you click the link, this is the what it looks like for you to you get a thing that says welcome back, and you go ahead and just fill in your username, your password, and then press sign in, and it will go ahead and sign you into the program. Now, once you get into the program, when you log in, you're going to see this main view, and this is called your dashboard. So you can see up at the top that's in the circle in red, it says My Dashboard. So this is kind of like your home page within the Well Beyond This online platform. And from here, you can access every part of the system that you'll need in order to do the online piece of the program. And the first thing you can do is go ahead and get the slide to change. And you can go into My Account. So you can see that at the top tab up there in yellow, My Account. You just click on that, and it takes you into your account details, as many of you will be familiar with setting this up on other applications and platforms. So you'll go ahead and enter whatever information you're comfortable entering. If you don't want to enter your phone numbers or whatever, you don't have to do that. Email address we already have, so again, don't worry about that. You might want to customize your time zone so that that way you're getting the materials and some of the reminders within the time frame of your time zone. So it's very simple to set that up. If you want to upload a photo, you can. If you would prefer not to, you don't have to. And I'll talk a little bit later about the confidentiality and how your name shows up within the system so that you understand that. So again, very simple to set up the profile. Probably all you're going to be doing, if you choose not to enter the phone number, is updating your time zone and possibly putting in a photo if you choose to. It's not required. From there, if you go back to My Dashboard, then you will be able to see under this tab up next. This is the first thing that you want to do after you've done your profile. Go to the Up Next tab and click on that. And it's the first tab on the left. And here you will see a list of everything that is due for you or coming due for you. So as your assignments start to flow into your stream of incoming assignments, which will include there'll be some written work where you'll read some background information, and then there's exercises that you engage in. So you'll be answering questions to help you clarify what it is you're learning, to write down your specific things. So for example, you're going to create your mission for survivorship. What is your mission statement about how you want to be showing up as a survivor? Things like that. You'll be doing a what we call an inventory, six core influencers inventory, and that's something that helps you go through 6 key areas to understand what feeds you in life, what gives you energy, and what drains you. And that's going to help us then help you come up with strategies around getting more of what feeds you and less of what drains you over the course of the program. So things like that will be flowing in order into your unique client profile, and you'll see right here what's next for you. And you can and then we're going to review what we can do with the large blue buttons up here next: action, message, and journal entry. So before I do that, I'm just going to check to see if there's any questions. Don't see any in the chat or question area. And if anybody's got any questions on what I've covered so far, then go ahead and put up your hands if you're on the dashboard. And I will keep going, just keep an eye out, but so far, no questions. So once you've seen what's next, let's take a look at action. So when you click on action, this is your own to-do list of how to progress and grow through your coaching experience. And, a coach can assign this to you, or you can set up your own. So actions are consistently things of something that you want to do by when. So, for example, perhaps you go through the exercise and you notice that one of the things that drains you is that by the end of the day, when you come home from your day, or your kids are coming home from the day, you are a little low in energy. And a strategy that you've come up with by working through the program is possibly taking a short nap, or it could be taking a walk. Maybe a walk and exercise is something that energizes you. You could actually plan that action and schedule it in if you wanted to, using the action thing. So it can work as a really good reminder system for any of the new behaviors that you are looking to integrate as you go forward. Maybe you decide that you like the centering exercise when you learn about that, and you want to remember to meditate, or center yourself for a few minutes at the start of each day. You can do that by using the plan the action piece. And then the other large button up there, message, send a message. You can message either myself, or you'll be able to message your assigned coach. And that way, if you have any questions or things like that, you can go ahead and do that. Although I would definitely recommend posting your questions in the online forum area, because that will also help the other participants who will see the questions that are posted, because often people have the same questions. And the coaches will be answering the questions there as well. So we'll be monitoring the group forums. And then if you find that journaling is something that will help you, and there's lots of prompts throughout the program that suggest maybe this would be a good thing to journal on, then you can press the big blue button that says journal entry, and you can write your own journal entry. And you can make it private for yourself if you don't want to share it with your coach. Or you can put it up, and the coach could actually take a look at it if that was something that you wanted to do. So those are the three big blue buttons. Now, if we go back to the dashboard, we're going to take a quick, sorry. We're going to look at these tabs right across the top here very quickly. So up next, we already covered, and that's your, at a glance. So anytime that you come back in to the system throughout the week, and probably recommend you're going to probably want to put aside about 2, depending on how fast you read, a couple hours a week spread over, 2 or 3 days. So maybe every other day you're checking in for about 30 minutes and doing about 30 minutes of work or something like that, just to keep it consistent. Every time you come in, you can go to the Up Next tab and see what's outstanding. So, for example, the first exercise that comes through, Welcome to Awareness, it will show you when it's due by, and then it will have the exercise there, and you can click on it and go ahead and do it. You also have the Stream tab. So the Stream tab just also shows you, I'm sorry. Up Next gives you the overview of everything that's up next. The Stream tab shows you the specific item. So if you click on Stream, that will take you to the specific item. And then your Metrics tab will take you to, your Metrics tab will take you to the metrics check-in. Now the metrics won't actually show anything until after you finish the first phase, when you do your stress check-in at the end of the first phase. So don't be surprised that nothing's showing up there right away. And then the other tabs across the top are, there's an actions tab that show any actions that you set for yourself when, if you set up the meditation reminder or something like that. And then there's also notes, a notes section. So that will show you outstanding items such as your worksheets and any session notes or, corresponding comments, things like that. And then finally, your files, that will show you files that are shared, such as videos and some of the online downloads. For example, the Survivorship Wheel of Life is a PDF download that you can either do it in the program, or if you prefer to do it on paper, you can download it. So any file that we send to you is going to be stored under files. You can always go and find it there. And finally, groups. So you'll all be able to choose to be part of a group. And it is helpful. It's an online group forum, and you can post conversations just like Facebook there, share information back and forth. And you comment on threads there. So it's a great place to collaborate. We find that, when people work together in kind of teams like this and partner with each other, first of all, it's more fun. And second of all, it can help with the accountability. So you might want to set up an accountability partner. Maybe you both have a strategy that you're working on for the week and you want to do check-ins, or maybe the group wants to do the check-ins together. Maybe you want to check in and see, how people are doing with a certain assignment, or you've got a question for your coach, you can post it there. So that's a really great place to communicate about what's going on. Share your breakthroughs, share your breakdowns, get some support. And we'll talk a little bit in a minute about best practices for that. Again, it is voluntary. You don't have to participate in it. It is set up as well that only your initials will show up when, if you choose to accept the invitation into the group. So it'll be only your initials there. So you can either choose to use your first name, a pseudonym, or just your initials. And that way we'll protect your confidentiality. Moving right along. So let's just talk for a minute about the curriculum and how the curriculum design works. The program is built into 7 phases. And phase 1, one of the things that I learned in coaching cancer survivors was that often they were coming in with things that they did want to change. They wanted to have more energy. They wanted to have less stress. They were trying to eat better because the doctor had given them nutritional information, or they were wanting to deal with it, taking steps forward in their career and really getting back on track, perhaps, or relationship challenges. But it's very challenging to do that when the stress is underlying all of this, and typically the stress really drains your physical energy. So in phase 1, we're really talking about, first of all, creating awareness about how you see yourself, how you think, how you show up under normal circumstances and under stressful circumstances, and also developing your vision for what sustainable, empowered survivorship is going to look like to you. And then in phase 2, we take a deeper dive into stress And that really helps you become a master of understanding what feeds you, what drains you, and discovering that you actually can make some different choices to transform that energy so that it's working for you and not against you. And in just doing some of the basic work that we're going to cover in those 2 phases in the online process, um, it was really amazing. I mean, why I became a cancer survivorship coach was working with a 7-year breast and brain cancer survivor. And within 2 hours of live coaching with me, working on the basic concepts that you'll go into far much more depth within this program, she went from saying that she had an energy level of 2 out of 10 every day to live her life to 7 out of 10 every day. So that was really what showed me that this was the arena that I needed to be working in, because I knew I couldn't withhold this kind of information and this model and this way of living from cancer survivors who so often need that extra energy to really be able to, go out and have a great life despite anything that's gone on or anything that may be going on. So finding those extraordinary moments, no matter what, finding the meaning, finding the purpose, and really being able to tap in to some joy again, and connect and be doing and investing time and energy in things that really matter to you. In phase 3, we use what we've worked in on phase 2 and 1 to help you reduce fatigue and increase your energy. And then in phase 4, now that, typically at this point, people have more energy and really have the wherewithal to go back and take a look at what are your values, especially now that you've been through an experience like this, because often our values shift and change when we go through a life-changing experience. So that helps you then define what your true priorities are and really get to know who you are now, given what you've been through. In phase 5, we really dig into a first round of addressing your well-being. So you're choosing what area of the survivorship wheel, do you really want to focus on improving your well-being in? It may be physical well-being, but it could be emotional well-being. It could be finances. It could be relationship. And you'll come up with a way of creating a week-long strategy to start to create some changes and take new actions so that you're increasing your well-being in that area. And then in phase 6, we really dig into relationships and understanding not only our own energy, but the energy that others bring, and how to put together a great support team that's really going to champion you, and how to deal with, for lack of a better word, how to deal with like the negative Nellies that show up in life. Most times when people are being negative, it's because they're, fearful for us, and they have a lot of concern and can kind of show up as negativity. It's usually typically coming from a place of caring. It's just not getting communicated very well. So, but that's can be draining. So we really help you understand how to negotiate some of those relationships and how to shift that so that the people that are surrounding you are really, truly supporting you and energizing you. And then in phase 7, we'll talk about how to build a sustainable plan that will carry you through the next 4 to 6 months. So what are some of your long-term well-being goals? And then how to break it down and set up your strategy for the next 6 months and set up accountability so you can continue to move forward and create the changes that you want. So that's what all of the curriculum and all the work you'll be doing in the online forum, supporting each other, is really about helping you on that journey from perhaps feeling more stressed, overwhelmed, lower energy, into a place of feeling more empowered, like you're thriving, and like you have more choice in what's going on in your life. And then just a quick review before we open up the lines. So just on confidentiality and best practices. So first of all, as I mentioned, for self-identification options, you can use initials, you can use a first name, or you can use a pseudonym. Please don't share any personal contact information within the forum, so that we keep everybody's personal life confidential. If at the end of the program you have made a connection with some or all the people and you feel very close and you want to find a way to stay in touch, then we'll set up a means to do that where, it's kind of like those speed dating things where you can say, who you might want to stay in touch with. And if your cards match up, and you want to exchange information, then we'll facilitate that for you. So know that there will be a way to stay in touch if it's of choice by each one of you to do so. So we'll figure out how to do that. If you have any challenges whatsoever, email your team at wellbeyondthis.com. Any questions, things like that. If you happen to post something in the forum and you feel it's not getting responded to quickly or it's urgent, then go ahead and use the email address and we'll be monitoring that as well, and we'll make sure you get the support that you need. As I said, I would recommend scheduling about 30 minutes every couple of days to be working online through the exercises, and post in the group forum to get some support from your peers and your coaches needed, sharing your breakdowns and your breakthroughs. In the group forum, it's all about, in coaching, a coaching-based approach to life is never about giving advice or what we call shoulding on people. And we don't want to should on ourselves either. So always sharing from an I perspective. I had this breakthrough. I found a resource that worked really well for me. Perhaps it could work well for others in the group. It never is, you should be doing this or you should try this. So that's just a little something we like to put out there. And obviously, we're going to ask you to not share about others and their experience online. If you happen to be on Facebook and you want to share a personal breakthrough that you facilitated by doing the work, by all means, as long as it's, about you, that's fine. Just please don't share about other people and their stories because they're doing that in confidence. And then also just be mindful of the energy that you bring to the group and to your daily life. So you're going to learn a lot more about basically 7 different kinds of energy that you could be bringing to any thought, situation, circumstance, or relationship, and how that impacts the experience that you're having with that and the outcomes you're generating, and therefore the life that you're getting. So we'll be going deep into that, and it's kind of the secret sauce behind all of this about how to create this transformation really truly from your core. So just being mindful of the energy that you're bringing into the group. And if you're feeling lower energy, and you'll understand the terms anabolic and catabolic energy very shortly, but if you're feeling lower energy, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling angry or upset about something, that's okay. Just being mindful that that's your energy, and, acknowledging it that way. Hey, I'm feeling this way today and I could use a little support, versus, posting anything that might be more, defensive, that kind of thing. And if you need help with that, again, just, check in with our coaches and we'll help you understand how to do that, how to be mindful of your energy in appropriate ways. And then number 10, I love this one, expect the extraordinary. I have seen over and over again extraordinary results from people learning how to look at life through the model that we're going to teach you. And one of the things that I really like about how IPEC trains its coaches and the way we approach things is we want you to be educated and understand how to facilitate these things for yourself. We want you to become experts in you, so that you're not reliant on a coach forever. You're not reliant on a group forum forever. It's always great to reach out for support when you need it, but we want you to have your own self-confidence, that you have different ways of moving forward in life, different tools and different resources, and you feel comfortable using these different tools and resources and this different perspective on how to really look at and understand the impact that energy has and how to shift that energy so you get more of what you want. So please do expect the extraordinary. And with that, I am going to go ahead and open up the lines for Q&A. So again, you can type your questions, or you can, if you're on your computer, you can put up your hand. And I'm probably going to just go through and do a one-by-one check just to make sure if anybody's on their phone and can't type in to see if they've got any questions. So any questions in general, you can ask. Also, if there's any coaching you want about any potential blocks or obstacles that might come up for you with regarding to completing the ELI metric so that you can get started, completing the 2 to 3 hours of online work each week, your group interaction, or completing the program. My time estimate is that if you're working consistently, that 2 to 3 hours per week, that most likely this is going to be about probably an 8 to 10 week process of working through it. You may find you work through faster, which is fine. You may find it takes you a little bit longer, which is fine. It can be self-paced that way. If you are getting, a little bit further behind the curve of where others are, then we'll check in with you and just make sure that you're not stuck on something and that kind of thing. So, and of course, any other questions or potential challenges. So, if there's anybody who want to go ahead and put up their hands and ask any questions that you have. And I don't want to use any names, so I am going to open up the mics one by one, and I'm just going to use your initials and check in with you by your initials. And that way I won't out anybody by accident. So AH, I actually have you live on the call. And I just want to check in to see how you're doing with the information you got, and if there's any questions you have. And I see you just typed in hello and thanks. Hello. I'm not sure if you're able to, I have your mic unmuted. Not yet, but I will be the first to know. Okay, great. All right, thank you. All right. CM, I have you unmuted. And I just want to say hello and welcome and see if you have any questions for myself or our coaches.
How many people are in this beta group?
There'll be approximately 50 people completing the beta trial, and they'll be in 2 groups of 25.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. HT, I have you unmuted, but it looks like you may not have entered the PIN number because it looked, or you're muted on your end is possible as well. So if you have any questions, or you want to say hi, there you go.
Hey there. I'm doing well. No questions at the moment. Thank you, though.
No problem. So I do have a question for you. Nothing hard. What is it that you feel you're most looking to get out of the experience?
Right now, it is shedding the fear with the metastatic diagnosis.
Got it. Okay, great. And it's really, I really appreciate you signing up for the trial, because one of the things that I want to make sure, and at the end of the trial, based on feedback, we may actually end up making a version of it unique that fits the disease, fits the needs of those dealing with metastatic disease. So please, along the way, email me or let any of our coaches know anything that we can do to customize it. The great thing about the work is that the customization really is done by how you apply yourself to the questions. So it doesn't per se need to be customized, but I also feel there might be some opportunities for some unique explorations or exercises and things like that that may be helpful. So I'd be, very appreciative of your feedback on that.
I will provide that, and I'm looking forward to this experience as part of the journey. It's scary. I'm a little scared, but I need to share that I am in remission after 7 months of treatment.
Oh, well, congratulations on that.
I just got the news, yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm actually going to, so I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute, but I'm going to bring bring our coaches on the line just to have a quick, guys, let's have a quick conversation, just about fear and, because it certainly comes up, as a fairly consistent topic, when we're dealing with the whole survivorship thing, diagnosis, treatment, metastatic disease. So thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Leanne and Wendy, I have unmuted you.
Hi. Hi, Tamara. Great. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, go ahead, Leanne. Hi.
Oh, okay. Congratulations on being here. Can I just say that kudos to you for stepping into this arena
Yeah.
and for being willing to acknowledge your fear and really giving everybody on the line permission to do the same. And, my goal as a coach is that you would never feel alone during the process because within the feeling of fear, I can imagine that sometimes it can be a little isolating. So I just want to acknowledge that piece for you and hold that space for you today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes such courage to, go through this and be willing to try something new and work through it. So we are definitely here to help all of you in whatever issues that come up and support you and, get you through that. So, fear is a big one that that you face, and as coaches we will work with you to kind of break that down and move you through it in a way that is, we look at it and look at where you are in different stages in your which is you're in a great, you got some great news today, so it's looking at that and being present through it. So we will work with all of you.
And Wendy, you've got a background as well in training in uh, PTSD work and emotional release.
Mhm.
And so I know that you've had done a lot of work with releasing around fear and things like that. Um,
Mhm.
maybe you can talk a little bit about what you love about that kind of work and some of the breakthroughs that are possible.
Well, with the work that I do with trauma, it's been very helpful. One of the tools that I use, you know, with mental emotional release is we release the emotion around the fear, and then work in the coaching arena with taking that, once that that anxiety and that fear is, the emotion is out of it, we can really from there, my clients have been able to build strategies and create new habits that when that fear crops up, they can look at it and go, okay, I'm doing this today, I'm doing that today, and again move through it and feel less emotion around it, around the fear and anxiety. So it takes that away, and that's one of the things that's been huge for the clients that I've worked with. Being Some of them have been, with some abuse and that sort of thing, and that fear and shame and anxiety is there, and they've been able to release it and create new strategies to move through it when it will crop up, because it will. So.
Great. Yes, and that's really learning to. One of the challenges that tends to come up is when we get into a state of fear, then of course we're highly stressed, which means we're not able to tap into thinking up, other strategic solutions or approaches, and so there's a lot of things that we don't even consider.
Right.
So one of the things that I've actually personally used is as a caregiver, when I was caregiving for my late husband, I had panic attacks for the first little while. And for me, I had to do a lot of experimenting. And one of the things that helped me was rescue remedy and essential oils and body work. So and then of course there can be the barriers to that. So perhaps if finances are tight, it can be challenging to figure out, how do I get acupuncture, or how do I get a massage, and and then as a caregiver, a lot of times I wanted to make sure the resources were going first to my husband, and I didn't really have the presence of mind to come up with strategies. But then, eventually I was able to figure out a few things for myself. But with the coaching, that's what we help you clear that space and be able to think strategically, reach out to your network, and kind of come up with some plans on who to ask and how to think outside of the box for solutions that you may not have considered in the past. So there's a lot of opportunity to really consider new possibilities when you start to dig into the work. And while I have you both live on the line, I will check in with with a couple more of the people on the line. But while I have you both on the line, I'd like each one of you to share a little bit about what you see as a possibility for survivors in using this program. Leanne, maybe I'll start with you.
Sure, thank you. I loved what you shared, Tambra, about expecting the extraordinary, because I think that is what this program is all about. And I know in my own life, my own journey, and working with the clients that I've been privileged to work with, that is indeed what we've been experiencing. And when you shared about thinking outside of the box and letting go of some of the fears and the judgments that we place around, whether it be a diagnosis or a traumatic experience, we have the opportunity to view it in a new way. And oftentimes what I hear from my clients, and I hear my own self telling me, is that, well, everybody thinks like I do. And when we, especially around a cancer diagnosis, we are expected to think a certain way and act a certain way, feel a certain way, and believe certain things. And what this program can give you is the privilege and honor and dignity to express it at the core of who you are, and not who your doctors say, not who your clinicians will tell you that you need to show up a certain way. But we are going to help you to peel back the layers and expose more of who you are, and empower you to show up in such a way that is fully living your values and the survivorship plan that you want to step into. And you're going to be able to do that with confidence and clarity and a real vision for what each day is going to bring to you, to the folks that you love, and to the world around you.
That was beautifully said, Leanne. I think bottom line, what I'm hearing in that, and what this gives you is choice. Down to just one word, it just gives you choice in places and ways and in thoughts, that you never thought possible. And when you have choice and you have options, that changes everything.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
Love that.
Wendy, what do you see as possible?
Well said, Leanne. I mean, that is exactly the confidence that's going to come, and the awareness. The awareness is huge. Doing the metrics, doing the ELI metrics, seeing where you are now, where you show up when stress hits. That is the beauty of this program, because you're going to start seeing, again, the patterns that happen when you go in stress, and the beauty of seeing where you can possibly go. The possibilities are extraordinary. And then you discover options. You discover that you're making really conscious choices, that I'm going to choose today to be this way because that's what works for me. And one of the things that a lot of my clients in cancer survivorship has done, they tend to isolate. They tend to kind of take it all in. They don't want to bother people with their problems. And one of the things that I think you'll get out of this program is that it is definitely, people want to be there for you. We will help you find your tribe of people that are there to support you through those days that you just don't feel like getting out of bed. But we're going to get ways to energize you and really feel that spirit of just being who you are and knowing that you have people to call on, and that's a strategy. It's a very simple thing, but you'll want to call them because you'll know that they really want to be there for you. So that's one of the things I see mostly that'll happen as well coming out of this program.
It's interesting because it really brings to mind the word connection for me and what you just said, Wendy.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line, I really feel like that's what life is all about. And we can't achieve anything if we're not, connected to people in somehow. We don't live life in a vacuum. We may try to run it that way sometimes. I mean, I tried not to be a bother to people when I was a caregiver or bother to my husband because he was dealing with everything that he was dealing with. So often, both caregivers and cancer survivors, and healthcare practitioners and providers even, they don't want to ask for help. So they end up stressed with a whole bunch of, everything on their plate. And that is some of the work we do as well, is really helping you understand that typically when we give help to others, it feels really good for us. And so when we give ourselves permission to ask for help, we're actually giving others an opportunity to contribute and make a difference in life. And really that connection is, it's where the juice is in life.
Yeah.
So that's, a really great opportunity. And both of the coaches that I've brought in to facilitate the program, Leanne and Wendy, are very, very committed, caring, compassionate women who really want to make a difference for you. So you are being surrounded and enveloped by arms that are very caring and will be here with you throughout the journey. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute you guys back out for a second, check in with the last couple of our people here who are on the line live, and just make sure nobody else has any questions. Nothing popped up in the question box. All right, so JC, I have you unmuted. You've got yourself on mute on the other end, so if you do have a question or just want to say hi, then you would need to unmute yourself. There you are. Oops, and you disappeared. And wait, let me see if I can do that one more time, just in case you wanted to ask a question. JC, are you there? I see a green microphone, which means you should be able to speak if you wanted to, but if it's not working for some reason, or you do have a question, just go ahead and chat it into the question box and I will get that to you, or email your team at wellbeyondthis.com and I'll be sure to get it answered. And I'll come back around one more time and check in with you. And RT, I have you unmuted, so I'm not sure if you have any questions or just want to say hi. RT, I have you on the line. Did you have any questions for us?
No, I don't think so. Hi.
Hi.
That's funny.
Anything you want some coaching on?
Not at this moment.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you inside the experience. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, I like the overall experience. It sounds like it's going to be great. I've been I'm going on to my 6th year, so I like that. I'm in a different place than others that are recently going through it, but I like helping others with dealing with their own experience, but it also, I can learn a lot for myself as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And the program is designed to work at, any stage along the, continuum of survivorship. So, whether somebody's just diagnosed or, going through treatment, finished up treatment, or 5, 10 years out, It is all in how you apply it to what it is you want to focus on right now, and it will support you in being able to explore that. So we'll be excited to see you progress through the program.
All right, thank you. And I just the person who had metastasized cancer, so did I, and my doctor called me cured last year, so there's a lot of hope for all of us. So I think that's great.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic news. Thank you very much for sharing that. And congratulations, and look forward to seeing you online and in the program.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, well, we're right at 6 o'clock. Don't see any other questions. I'm going to try JC one more time. So JC, I just tried you one more time, and doesn't seem to be. So sorry that we didn't connect with you if you were, oh, wait, it's green there. JC, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm in have a bad connection and it keeps dropping in and out, but I'm enjoying what I'm learning. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, welcome to the program, and we look forward to working with you and getting you some support and some new insights and ideas.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up the call. I do want to thank our coaches who are on the line as we went through that, and thank all of you for showing up. And we'll send you out a copy of the recording tomorrow so that you can review it if you need to. And have a wonderful evening through the rest of the evening. And we look forward to getting you into the program in the next few days. So take care, everybody. And don't forget, if you haven't done your ELI assessment, please go ahead and do that. And then we can get you rocking and rolling and moving towards those extraordinary moments. Thank you all, and have a great evening.